Well, I think it's finally finished. Well, finished as in the metalwork bit is done. Put in a brace across the top here. Unfortunately, my welding's not too good, but once it's covered in black powder coat and the compressor's in the way, you're not going to see it. The same as on the back, you're not going to see it. I'm not going to worry too much about cleaning up the back, purely because if I leave the weld there, it's extra strength. That's the way I look at it. I put this piece in, as I said, here, and hopefully that'll give that some nice rigidity. I've cut off here the piece that was excess and tried to make a reasonable shape out of it. I guess I could curve that a little more, but I'm thinking, what the hell, I'm going to leave it now. So the next thing is to powder coat this. But first, before that, let me show you the compressor in it here, and then on the car, just to make sure final fit before I do the powder coating. Well, there it is, mounted. I don't think I've ever explained before, but these three holes, they are on the engine block, which is, I don't know what it's used for, in all honesty. Certainly not the generator, that's underneath this. Could be that it was a different type of mounting for a different model, I'm not sure. However, there we are, compressor is in position. Obviously these are the two connections, and as I mentioned before, I cut this off so that I have enough room here. Hopefully that'll work okay. I don't believe it has to go up the other way, and I'm only saying that now because I'm looking at the writing, and it's upside down. But I don't think it makes a bit of difference with the compressor. I hope not. If it does, Oh, one other thing I do have to do that I know I haven't mentioned is, because the compressor is so close to the exhaust, I'm going to have to make up some kind of heat shield. I'm thinking I'm just going to buy a piece of aluminium and bend it into shape, and maybe also wrap the back of the compressor with heat-resistant material. I don't know yet. That's a decision that has yet to be made. But definitely there will be a shield on the exhaust itself, just a piece of tin to hopefully deflect the heat. Right, now let's get it in position so you can see it in position. Ah, here it is in its position. You can see I do have a gap there behind the compressor. Hopefully that is enough of a gap for the heat shield that I'm going to make to go on there. It'll attach to the manifold bolts there and then curve round the exhaust manifold. Hopefully that will work, and maybe I'll get some kind of wrap to put on the back of the compressor and tie it on with metal cable ties or wire ties, whatever you want to call them. I've got enough of a gap here. If the engine rocks that much, I'm in big trouble anyway. The pulleys now seem to be lined up pretty darn good. There may be a little tweaking I need to do. You don't see much of the back of the compressor, not the compressor, the compressor bracket, fortunately, because as I said, it's not pretty. But once it's all powder coated, it'll cover up a lot of the sins. There we go. Yes, I know the alternator's not in. Once this bracket is powder coated, I will get the alternator in and connect it up, and make its final mounting. And then I'll be able to do the same with the compressor. Then I have to run the lines from the compressor. Not sure how they're going to run yet. I may bring them up here and then down and then through it's got to go in front of the radiator, and this obviously is the radiator mounting bar here. So I may have to drill, well in fact I will have to drill to get the pipes through, so I'll have to go through the radiator bracket. Yeah, I could go out to the inner wing and then back in, but I think that's a bit of a faff. My plan is to drill through here. It's nice and hollow back here for me. So I'll drill through from this side, bring the pipes in here, and they will go to the condenser and the electric fan. So I've got to get some wires through here as well for the electric fan. All of this has to be done before I can put the radiator in. And the grill has to go in first. So it's going to be a little tricky to do this. So I've got to make sure I can mount everything from this side. Wow. Okay. More fun at the fair. Well, here we are, finally ready to install the bracket and the compressor and the alternator. And these are the nuts and bolts I shall need. This one goes through the bracket at the front, which you can't see. These are for the compressor. There are already two in the compressor. These nuts will be redundant. These are their replacements. They are Nylox. These 3 bolts are for the plate, and obviously lock washers, spring washers, whatever you want to call them. These are for the alternator, and the same thing. And I will also be using Loctite on these ones that bolt the plate to the body. I won't use them on the compressor or on the alternator, or I won't use it. My spacer is there, ready. I have cleaned on the back of this, not very prettily, but I've cleaned on the back, and I've also cleaned the block so that I can get metal-to-metal contact between this plate and the block, and then between the compressor and this plate. And to do that, again, I've just quickly cleaned up 4 areas there. That is because this gets its ground or its earth or its negative through the engine. And that reminds me, I must find out where the engine negative wire is meant to connect to. I haven't got one, but it seems to have got itself somehow. Not quite sure how. Probably through, I don't know, a pipe of some description. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that, because I have to make sure that I've got a good engine ground. All right. Next, you will see this all fitted. Then I have to go and get a belt. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Alternator is in. Bracket is in ready. Exhaust heat shield is wrapped. I'm still going to put a piece of metal here. Got to make that yet. Shouldn't take long. Put a little bit of wrapping on the back there. And yes, I know it's not all the way covering everything, but it's the best that it can be done at the moment. Oh, let's go in here and note, now when I turn the ignition on, the ignition light comes on. Look, isn't that pretty? Yeah. So I've obviously done the connections right on the alternator. Back to the compressor now for a moment. I've had to change the way I mount it, believe it or not. Yeah, that's a surprise. You mustn't have these. Okay, we'll try again. Sorry, the battery just died on my camera. I think I've picked out a new camera thanks to a recommendation by one of my subscribers. Trouble is, it's $520. That's going to hurt, but shit, I've probably got to do it. So if you want to send me some money, please feel free to do so. Go towards my video camera. Right, digressed. Yes, I know this is not completely covering the back. It's just, well, it's there to help. But that's not what I was talking about, was it? You cannot have these ports facing downwards. You cannot go more than 90 degrees from this way up as it happens. So I could turn them sideways Well, I can't turn it that way because it'll hit the engine. And if I try turning it this way, so that these ports are on the side, they are way too close to the inner wing. And I would have great difficulty getting a connection on there. So they're going to have to face upwards, and I'm going to have to be very clever with the piping. All right, now let's get this mounted. Oh no, I've got to do that little heat shield first. Okay, compressor is in. Just got to tighten up the bolts on the mounting. I've checked the groove lineup and that seems pretty good. I'll know when I get the fan belt. I've got to make up the heat shield piece to go on here. I'm dealing with that at the moment, but I thought I'd wrap this up now so that you guys can finally see the compressor in position. Yep, that should, in theory, be okay now. I have dropped one of the nuts and I can't find it, so I'm going to have to go on a hunt. Oh, and as I say that, have I just spotted it? No, I haven't. Bollocks. It's the one at the... Sorry, you can't see, can you? It's the one at the front here. The front here. This is the bolt here. And the nut, obviously, there. And of course, to get to it is awkward, so I might take this bar off so that I can get up there and get that on there. And then just do this bar up again afterwards. What a pain in the ass. Nothing goes simple, huh? However, the bracket is in. These turning freely. Whoops, there you go. That's turning freely. I got a slight noise on this one. I think it's the bearing. I guess I'm going to find out. So I'm hoping that all of this turns the correct way. I may have to change that fan. I'm not... Shit, which way does this go? Goes that way. So that fan's wrong. Haha. I'll have to turn the fan round. That's not right. Bollocks. Is that right? Which way does the engine turn? That way. So the belt will go that way. So that'll go that way. Oh yeah, that is wrong. Bollocks. Bollocks, bollocks, bollocks. That's going to be interesting turning that around. Wonder how I'm going to do that. I mean, I know I can undo it and just turn it around and put it back on, but to get it... Wonder if it'd still get air in there to keep it cool. Oh boy. That's the trouble, you see. I think alternators are usually mounted on the other side. Christ, I can't... there's no way I can put an idler pulley in or anything to change the direction of that. Wow. It's not one bloody thing, it's the other. Jesus. Be Jesus. Yeah, this could be a bit of a trick, having to do that. I will confirm, but yeah. Yeah, the engine... Oh, well, does the engine go the other way? Am I nuts? No, it doesn't, no. God, driving myself bloody nuts here, thinking which way round the engine goes. It goes that way. Sorry, you can't see that. That way, doesn't it? That's the way the engine goes. Because then that goes tight. Yeah. Bollocks. Looks like my alternator fan is the wrong way round. I wonder if I can buy one that's already done the other way around. I'll have to have a look online and see. Alright, enough prattling. You know the usual. Get out of that garage. Go do some shit. We're getting there. Oh boy. What a task this is. Yeah. Okay, let's get on with it.